What is up, world? It's your boy Ton, and you are listening to the Wonton Wealth Podcast. Here, I'm going to unravel anything and everything commercial real estate related. And more importantly, we're going to add abundant value. So if you're ready, buckle up your eardrums. Well, to begin, why don't you give us an intro of what you were doing previously, what you're doing now, what you're focusing on?
Yep. Michael Dawkins. I'm retired from the fire department in Portland, so 2 years ago. So now I'm doing the full-time real estate, and I've been doing that for about 10 years. But now I can put all my efforts into my projects and not have a W-2. So I'm very blessed to have that flexibility. Um, yeah, just working now doing land entitlement development and some commercial projects. So that's what
We're
I'm.
definitely going to dig into some of those. Actually, you know what? Let's keep it interesting. Let's dig into the real estate stuff first. The land entitlement, the whole nine. Give us an overview of what that looks like currently.
So land entitlement, it's a tough one for me. It's you have the political aspects of it, and right now we have a project. It's it's 20 acres. It's being designated for annexation, but political forces are saying no. Environmental. We don't want to sprawl even a major interstate. So it's a lot of lobbying behind the scenes. It's a lot of I'm in Washington State. I kind of gleaned over that. So it's tricky. So it's patience, it's high risk, high reward, but if you buy right, you'll be all right. So that's one project trying to get it from agricultural land. Like in Washington State, you have to de-designate ag land, which means you have to prove that it's not ag land, even if you don't have water, even if you can't do a crop, even if you can't raise anything. So that's one of my projects right now. That's kind of forefront is we're in the middle of that 20-year comp plan that is trying to get this annexed and zoning changed.
So obviously, when you choose the land in and of itself, it has to be located well in a location where you can actually sell it to a developer or you develop it yourself for the next big thing, right? Whether it be a single family subdivision neighborhood or a strip center or mixed use, live, work, and play, correct?
Right. 100%.
So when you start to go through the entitlement process, obviously, like you mentioned, you need a lot of patience to get this thing done because you're dealing with the city or in the county, and there's a lot of paperwork involved, a lot of red tape. Aside from the all the red tape and the patience that you have there, else is the biggest challenge that you're facing to get this, whether it be from changing it from ag land to be zoned different or just getting some of the utilities to the land.
Yes. To
All
answer
of
that,
it, right?
everything. So what's in front of me right now was early part was is beginning the lobbying process and says that we would like to be included into your urban growth boundary into a local town and get pulled in. And then you have to kind of paint the vision of what that would look like. And so, as I said, this is Interstate 5 north south, from Canada to Mexico on the west coast. It's 2 minutes off of that. You can see pretty much the interstate. And so that location is advantageous. I bought this off market 2 years ago. So it's one of those, it took me 2 years to get it. And I was able to buy it at a price point where worst case scenarios, I can sell it to somebody to build a, McMansion on it. It's view property. It's nice. But ideally, it's like you have to paint that picture is saying, well, how's it going to serve the local communities? How's it going to, and simultaneously you have to do all the background stuff to also paint that picture to the municipalities, to the politicians in particular, and then be prepared to fight the environmental groups that are going to sue no matter what, because they figuratively have a gun to the head of everybody over here threatening to sue for any changes. It's blackberries in hay fields. So, but that's what they want it to stay, and it's
So
nuisance.
it's a multi-year project for
Yes,
one. For
correct.
two, you got pissed off people wanting to keep it how it is. So essentially, you really have the whole world against you. Not necessarily the whole world, but pretty much this whole neighborhood, this whole area, just thinking that you're the bad guy.
It's the big bad developer, and obviously I don't really fit that image. But there are builders. There's other folks that are in this group of trying to get ag land into commercial land, because this land is forms a tax base for this town so that they can exist. Their services, their police, fire, any all their infrastructure is based on developing a healthy commercial infrastructure. You just have to explain that. But there's always going to be the group that says, NIMBYs, not in my backyard kind of thing. Although um, it's interesting. There's a whole group of people that you have to kind of work together as you compile your resources through either through legal means and relationships to that you build to get across the finish line.
It's most certainly a team sport because you got, engineers, architects, right? Well, you're probably not dealing with architects yet, but
Not yet.
surveyors and all that in order just to get it to the entitlement process. So, and your plan with this is just to get it entitled to sell to a developer. Is that correct?
Correct. And
Okay.
I've actually had an offer on it recently, and there's just a lot of exposure. There's a lot of guarantees. There's not a lot of guarantees yet. So from 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 here on out, if you never, for me, it's being just an individual guy because I don't have investors in this at all. I can sell it at any point moving forward if the price is right to get it there.
So let's hypothetically say that the offer you got was complete dog shit. So now we're going to wait probably another year before you one get an offer and two everything's kind of tidied up in terms of the entitlement process, right? You've gotten all the utilities, etc. It's good to go. It's shovel ready. Year later, you get an offer, and this offer is pretty much at market price. So from the time you purchased it to the time you get this offer, and you've gone through all the shitty work of entitling it, what is that multiple in terms of the equity or the value that you've increased the land from when you've purchased it and all the work that you've done over the previous 3 years?
Well, the offer that I received now it'd be 3x in 2 years, which is pretty good. It just depends on what it ends up. It's being designated for general commercial. So if you can bring in like a big box store, Home Depot or something, and I mean it's from that point on, it's on all these kind of deals. I just always position myself that I can get my money back and with a cushion, right? So the upside with land is what it is. It's whatever you can position. You just don't know. That's why it's just high risk, high reward. So that's just one project I got going. It's slow. Like I say, you got to be patient.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the slower ones. Land in and of itself is slow because once again, like you mentioned, Mike, you gotta eat a lot of shit while you're doing it, and you gotta you gotta be able to kind of sugarcoat or honeypot these bureaucratic officials, right, with the cities and whatnot. But at the end of the day, 3x in 2 years is a damn good deal. Now, obviously, you got to account for your time in there, etc. But if if it's another year, and let's say it's I don't know 4 or 5x, even better, right? But then now the developer is going to take that land with whatever purchase price at 5x or 4x, and they're going to probably 5 6x it on the back end after they build. So if you have the patience to actually sit through the entire process, you could essentially 10x your money, or probably even more, right? So Mike, give us some other cool ass deals that you're working on.
Right now, we're kind of my bread and butter starting out in real estate is buying, property with, house and shops and bigger property and then splitting them up. So I'm doing another one where, I'm turning a house and a shop into on an acre into three parcels. partnering with a builder. Builder's handling the whole partition process. He'll buy the two parcels. That pretty much pays for the house, and then I can turn around and sell the house. And you know, it's I'm in the middle of that right now. That's kind of an exit strategy for me on that one. But that's been kind of what I like to do is stabilize it, get a renter in there, pay the bill, cash flow a bit, and then split it up.
I love
And
that. I love that. These are some of the deals that nobody would ever touch because they're like, what the hell do I do with it? You know?
right, you have to wait. There again, it's I think I'm 4 years into this project.
Oh,
So then
geez.
another six, but no, but it's I didn't choose to do it until then. I got it stabilized, made some improvements, and then just have sat on to let it cash flow, and then wait to see what the market is.
Got it.
I looked at partnering with the neighboring jurisdiction and putting tiny homes for drug and alcohol rehab,
Yeah.
and we were close, but politically it got pulled out from underneath us. So that's one of those things you just got to keep trying different things and figure out what's going to stick. And it's like, well, this is the simplest. You could knock the house down. I could probably put 20 townhomes on it. But if you look at the infrastructure, how much I'm going to have to put into it to do that. So what's the cost? The cash layout to do that, as opposed to splitting up into two parcels, takes 3 to 6 months. Sell those, pays off the house, then you sell the house, and you make $300,000-400,000 on a $400,000 house.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a bad return at all.
Yeah, it's kind of it's what's your time worth, what's your money worth.
Yeah,
You
of
know,
course. Of course.
that's
Okay.
one.
So one's 2 years, this one's 4 years. Anything else that you're kind of in the middle of?
We're working on our little industrial park that you guys know about in the Tri Cities, Washington, and just cleared out the IOS lot, the industrial outdoor storage yard. It was Yeah, I mean, it was 30 cubic yards of dirt and junk and vehicles and concrete, old concrete, and got it all out of there. Nice uh, crushed concrete, so surface. And we just got a commercial fence built in. So it's a little over a half acre that two of the tenants are using. So we've got that baby leased up, and it's doing well.
Love that. Love that. How long did it get it did it take you to get it leased up?
Didn't. It was so fast. It was quick. It was
That's
literally
awesome.
somebody knew someone, and we have a broker over there who's helping us virtually for free because he knows, in 3 to 4 we're gonna put it on the market, turn it, and he can get the listing. So he's helping, but yeah, everybody knew someone, and yeah, in fact, we grabbed the handyman who worked for my property manager and ended up giving him a spot, and he's been doing a bunch of work for me. So yeah, when you get the right asset, and this one, just a little background to people listening, it's a 21,000 plus square feet commercial, industrial metal buildings, 6 different metal buildings, 9 different spaces, 7 different tenants, and it's on 2.2 acres, and it's just been great. It's at that sweet spot that you get to the small mom and pop businesses, and you keep them. What do I say? Warm, safe, and dry. That's my
Yep.
motto.
Yep.
You don't need anything else.
Absolutely.
So
So what's the disposition plan with this one?
yeah, I'm thinking 3 years from now, we have a lease that was the daughter of the owner that was $2.73 a foot, modified gross. And that we're leasing people up right now from 11 to $12 a foot. So she is way below market, 25% of market. And so her lease expires October of 27. So at that time, we can bring her around, and I think we can then figure out what the plan is, if we're going to hold, or we're going to turn it and then reinvest in another similar value add uh, project.
Love that. Love that. God. Well, this one's probably the quicker of the three deals that you've been in for sure, considering the other ones were 2 years plus, and this one is anticipating for a 3 year exit. So
With three
you're
years,
already winning.
so I'm that 3 to 5 year window is kind of always my sweet spot. Although I've
You
turned some, flipped
you
some.
sure you don't want to stretch it out to like 15?
I we've got seller financing on this for
Oh, it's
10 years
awesome.
at what 3.5%. So
You
uh,
can't beat that.
it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. It was a win for both of us because he didn't have people paying. People weren't even his daughter wasn't even paying. So we just came in and said, "Hey guys, there's a couple people left, and there you go."
Holy shit. Well, I'm glad you guys were able to make it a win-win. That's awesome. Seller financing at those terms, I take any deal at those rates.
And
Almost every deal.
yeah, it allowed us to. Yeah, we didn't. I think we. Yeah, well, we think we put 6% down on it. So
Oh God, even better. That should be a screaming deal.
it's Tri Cities in Washington State is a kind of an anomaly. It's where Hanford Nuclear Plant is. They got a lot of federal labs. It's very strong markets.
And that was the overview for Michael Dawkins' real estate story. Tune in again next week to learn more about fire safety as it relates to commercial real estate. And that's a wrap. If you've made it this far, that means you've listened to the entire episode, so thank you. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening from. And if you've learned something or found it useful, share it with one of your homies. And if you want to get in touch with me, I'm pretty active on IG. My handle is pro_TANH. Reach out, let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, or what you want to hear about in the future. I'm here to tailor this to you. Until next time.